can take the car, go on testing tracks or take it into the city. And if you have a driving license as a student, you can also drive those cars. So basically, it was interesting to see students driving S classes and Maybachs, which we don't see in India usually, right?
Hey everyone, welcome back to my another video. Today I have another guest with me. She is one of my friends and she was a student at University of Stuttgart. Now she has started a full-time job, but before that she was doing her internship at Mercedes Benz. Many people's dream it is to work in Germany in Mercedes. So we'll also get to know her experience working at Benz. After finishing her masters, she was struggling a little bit to find a full-time job, and we'll get to know from her experience what it was, how it was, and if she can share some tips for you as well if you are going through the same situation. So let's start with a small introduction. Celeste, can you introduce yourself?
Yeah. Hi everyone, I'm Celeste. Basically, I have done my engineering in electronics and communication from India, from Gujarat basically. And then I was also working in India as an embedded software engineer for 3.5 years. I moved to Germany for my master's in 2020, in October 2020 batch. I came here in January 2020 because of COVID. I studied Infotech at University of Stuttgart. So Infotech is basically a combination course of electrical engineering and computer science, where there is multidisciplinary fields of computer science, and basically gives you a lot of research opportunities to work there. During my master's, I worked as a working student at Mercedes Benz for around 2 years. And I did my thesis also in Mercedes Benz. So yeah, I used to work in R&D in Sindelfingen, which is like the headquarters of Mercedes Benz. And so far my journey has been pretty good.
We'll come to that part. We'll slowly come to that part as well. But to tell you, I got a rejection from your university when I applied for the master's program, same master's program, Infotech. And my audience wants to know, let's say, as I started in the introduction itself, everyone who comes to Germany is, let's say, in the automotive field, mechanical field, wants to work with Mercedes or BMW or Audi like that. How did you get into it? What was the process for you? How did it happen?
So University of Stuttgart is pretty much into TU9, which is like the Ivy League of Germany, if I would say, and the acceptance criteria is pretty high at University of Stuttgart. I have not seen a student who, in Indian terms, scored less than 8.5 CGPA at a university in my course. Yes, there are a lot of people in my course which are from India. So like 70% of people were from India, and they have left their jobs, let's say, to come here and do their masters. So I had a class wherein there were people who have prior work experience with Mercedes Benz India or Bosch India, or have worked with like really good companies, multinational companies, and they have left their jobs to get here. As a student, the interviews are not pretty tough because you are learning as a student. So I applied in a lot of different companies there, including Bosch, Fraunhofer, Benz, Vector, a lot of different companies into embedded, into other working areas where I could work. And I pretty much gave interviews of 3 different companies. One from was Bosch, one was at Mercedes Benz, and one was at Fraunhofer. Fraunhofer was working on data science project. I have not worked in data science field, and at that moment I didn't study data science. So I pretty much turned down that offer. Another was at Bosch. So at Bosch, they pretty much took a 1-hour interview. It was kind of basically based on what projects I have done before, what kind of
Okay.
experiences I have,
Yeah.
and yeah, also technical questions. And then I had a call from my supervisor from Benz. Um, he did not ask me much questions. It was pretty much like I would say 10-minute phone call, and then he was convinced that I have the necessary skills that I
Okay.
need for the work, and he pretty much said like, okay, I think you can. We can proceed forward with you. So it was basically yes from Mercedes Benz, and then I got a rejection from Bosch for that interview. So
Okay.
basically like
So
that.
are you telling here that you got 1 hour interview with Bosch and still did not make it, but then with
Yes.
Benz it was just 10 minutes phone call?
Exactly. So that was a funny thing, but yeah, that's that. And
Wow.
I pretty much stayed at Mercedes as a working student for 2 years. So I was in one team. My manager changed his team from one team to another because of the project he wanted to work in. So when he changed, I was told to, like leave Benz or like change Benz because he couldn't take me in his team where he was working for. And by that time, I had worked with a few people in Benz and I used to know them. So I told my manager, can you recommend me to, let's say, another team member?
Yes. Yeah.
And he did. And there was my supervisor. She said, okay, we like your work. We pretty much want the similar work that you are
Yes.
doing in our team. So, so she took me, fortunately. I stayed there with that team for around a year, and then basically, so you are allowed to work for 20 hours as a student.
Yeah.
And I pretty much exhausted those 120 days which you get to work in a year. And in December, I had to stay at home because I exhausted my working hours.
Exactly.
So when I was submitting my laptop for the break, my manager, he approached me and he was asking, what are your plans? And at that moment, I was looking for my thesis. And basically, he helped me to get the thesis. He said, okay, we have a PhD student who is working with us on a topic, and if you are interested, we can proceed with that.
Yeah.
And I had a meeting with him. I liked the topic mainly, and that's how I got my thesis as well.
Okay.
So if I would say the people that I've found at Mercedes, they are pretty helpful, and they are like, helping students, looking forward to the development. So I have been lucky in that case.
Exactly. That's really good. The only thing is getting there. That's
Yeah,
not the easy part.
that's not the easy part. I agree with you absolutely. But there are a lot of people who I have seen don't even apply to these companies because they feel that they will never get into Benz or such companies, So that's one thing that you should apply in such companies. And it's not only Benz, because there are a lot of companies in Stuttgart area like Porsche, Bosch is there. They are working on a lot of research projects, and you should be willing to communicate. You should be convincible. And first initiative is yours. Like, you should communicate. You should know how to interact with people, and then how it goes from there.
Exactly.
So I have friends who have been like in university parties where they met some people, and then they are looking for jobs, let's say student jobs or something. They meet someone at the party who are doing their PhD on some topics at the university. They are open to, introduce themselves and communicate, what are you working on? I'm looking for part-time job or a HEVI, let's say as a research assistant in a university. I want to work. And they basically tell you, like, I'm working on so and so project, I have this requirement, if you are willing to work on that, we can, you
That's good.
would be helpful to get you on board.
So
So
networking and connections that also help you land somewhere. But what I also want to ask you now, how was the environment? You kind of gave a glimpse of how it was working at Mercedes, but in general, like according to your opinion or from your experience, how was the general experience for you working there?
So Mercedes Benz is a pretty wide campus.
Mm-hmm.
In their R&D centers, if I say, there are approximately more than 30,000 people working there. So
Mm-hmm.
it's an enormous campus in Sindelfingen. In my team, there were pretty much around 8 to 9 students working, and then Mercedes has, like student groups where you can go on Stammtisch, like I would say, like
Mm-hmm.
student meetups,
Mm-hmm.
and you can interact with other students, what they are working on. There are multidisciplinary students, someone who is working in automotive domain, someone who is working in mechanical domain, in let's say business analytics, everything. So networking is one part. Another part is like a lot of people are doing their PhDs there, a lot of different research options are there. And the campus itself is like really big. They have pretty good testing facilities, so
Mm-hmm.
you get to be in a lot of different
Mm-hmm.
new cars, I
Mm-hmm.
would say.
What
As
I also heard is Mercedes employee or any OEM employees get cars from the company just for free use. Like you just
it's not
show
for
your.
free use, it's mainly for testing the cars. So
Uh-huh.
you can take the car, go on testing tracks, or take it
Mm-hmm.
into the city. And if you have a driving license as a student, you can also drive those cars. So basically, it was
Uh-huh.
interesting to see students driving S classes and Maybachs, which we don't see in India usually,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah. We talked a lot about the working student life or university life, but when you started approaching end of your thesis, then you have to. I mean, you were looking for full-time jobs, or you wanted to look for full-time jobs, and I know that when you started looking for jobs, the timing in Germany was not that right.
Yeah.
The demand was less. There was recession started, and many companies were not hiring. How was your experience then? What things did you go through in that time?
Definitely, I felt more challenged during these times because there is not a lot of job opportunities right now. There is pretty much recession going on, and it took me some months to find a job here. So, firstly, I was facing a lot of rejections because sometimes their requirements don't meet with your skills,
Yeah.
or let's
Hmm.
say don't exactly match with the job that you are looking for. Uh, I applied at a lot of places, but because a lot of people have lost their jobs, and there is a higher competition
Yes.
to get into,
Hmm.
let's say, tier one companies. And it was also hard for me to get into tier one companies. I started applying around February. I completed my thesis in November, and then I took a 2 month break because I was
Hmm.
mind numb with my thesis,
Yeah.
let's say.
Hmm.
And from February onwards, I applied a lot of companies, gave a lot of interviews. Sometimes, so the interview process is basically first round, second round is technical, and then they kind of invite you to the company
Yeah.
to meet them and see
Yeah.
the work culture and
Yeah.
everything.
Hmm.
I almost would have applied at around, let's say, 60 to 70 places,
Hmm.
out of which there are a lot of different agencies also, where
Yeah.
they help you to get an external contract from a company.
Yeah.
I didn't hear much from those agencies, and I was actually not looking to work as an external. I was looking for more of a permanent role.
Yes.
Um, and then out of these applications, I received like I did so many first rounds, but my second round was from, let's say, 7 to 8 companies only,
Okay.
and out of which I faced half of the rejections.
What I wanted to ask is, did the university name or the company where you were working for before as a student, I mean, you had 2 years of experience working as a student in Mercedes, you were studying at University of Stuttgart, so did this somehow play some role in that? Do you think, was it Was it somehow beneficial somewhere?
Yes, it
Yeah.
was definitely beneficial, if I would say. My manager also recommended me to a lot of positions there,
Yeah.
but apparently there is a lot of cost cutting going on in multinational companies, and sometimes you don't just get the interview right. And I had a lot of help from my supervisors in applications, let's say a lot of recommendations, but currently, because of the situation, I would say it's not that easy and
Yeah.
straightforward.
Yeah, exactly.
So
I
yeah.
get asked by a lot of people even now that they have been getting continuous rejections for months, like 6 months. People have finished their thesis, and for 6 months they have been jobless, and they are still looking for it, but it's I mean they have not been successful. So I mean I just want to ask this now, since I have been asked this question. After you finish your thesis and you end your student life, you have to convert your visa, if you don't have a job, to a job seeker visa. Did you have to convert that as well?
I definitely applied for job seekers visa. The visa situation is also not right in Germany. If I would say,
Yeah.
there are a lot of waiting lists there. Mainly, I had a student visa, and now because of this waiting list, Germany has approved working as a student. So if you cannot convert your visa into a job seeker's visa, let's say while finding a job, you can still find a job in your student visa, and you can start working in a company as a student for 140 days, which is allowed. And then you can basically apply for blue card. So
Right.
I have my blue card process currently going on, and I am working on my student visa currently. So yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's again a tedious process. You know, you have to show your blocked account, or you have to show some balance in your current
Absolutely.
bank
You
account, and
have to keep
it's
a
a
certain
headache.
minimum amount in your bank in order to get visa. And
Yeah,
you never know when they give you an appointment.
exactly.
So there is a gamble in that. I have had situations where I had to borrow money from my parents, let's say, during the job searching period,
Yeah, yeah,
because I mean, it's not enough to have it in your accounts to show it
yeah,
to the people
exactly.
to visa office.
Mm-hmm.
But you can do pretty much part-time jobs also during your job search. But
Yeah,
I would not
uh-huh,
recommend that.
uh-huh.
I would pretty much recommend to work on your skills while
Yes,
looking for jobs, because
yeah,
interview requires you to have a lot of skills,
yes,
and it's not so easy to clear those interviews.
yeah,
A lot of people waste their timings while doing part-time and
yeah,
managing their finances. I would pretty much say get a loan, you know, because if you have those technical knowledge, you can clear the interviews way faster,
yeah.
and you will have a pretty good
Decent
job
job
later.
with a good salary later on. Yeah,
Exactly. And then you can recover all those financial losses like in months.
yeah. Now you got a job finally, right?
Yeah.
That's good. Congratulations.
Thanks.
I think that's why we are meeting now in Munich. She has a job in
Yeah,
Munich
I
now.
remember you also helped me with one of the
Uh-huh.
applications at NXP.
Uh-huh.
Thanks for that.
Yeah, I'm sorry you didn't. I mean, it didn't proceed further.
Yeah, I can pretty much understand
Yeah,
currently the
yeah,
situation. Yeah.
yeah. But now you have a job now, and you face those difficulties going through a rigorous job search, and in this particular difficult times. So, what tips would you like to give to students who are still jobless or who are looking for jobs? Maybe from your experience.
Work on your German skills as well, because I have also faced the difficulties for
Yeah.
my German skills. A lot of different people don't consider me for the German skills. That was the reason for a lot of rejections.
Oh, okay.
I am also working currently on my German skills, but I would say it's difficult, but it's not
Yeah.
impossible.
So
Um,
you were saying it would have been made, it would have been a little bit easier if you had known German well.
Absolutely. I have a work experience currently, and I was not applying as a fresher. I was definitely looking as someone who has a work
Yep.
experience. Another thing was a lot of automotive companies in Germany, a lot of other companies who are working on embedded projects or computer science project requires German level as well, because you ultimately have to deal with German clients.
Yeah.
and these clients pretty much speak in German. There is a demand for let's say technical persons, high skilled
Yeah.
people in Germany, but those demands are actually pretty much for high skilled. If you are a fresher, you definitely will feel a lot of difficulties, let's say, because you basically have none of the industry experience. Let's say you did a HEB or working student in a company for a year, but that's it. That's what you have. So there, for the freshers who are looking for a job, I would recommend work on your German skills, because then you can actually communicate with them and try to
Yeah.
get a job.
Exactly. It's a little bit more convincing when you have the German skills. So I think we are coming to the end of our video, and we are sitting in a English garden here, and we are seeing people getting crowded now. So we should also wrap this up. All right. So thank you so much, Celeste, for sharing all your tips, all the valuable experience, and I'm sure that this video will be helpful for you if you're looking for a job. And I wish you good luck. And if you have not subscribed to the channel yet, I would suggest do that right away, because more topics like this are coming up on my channel. So thank you so much.
Thanks for
And
having me.
yeah, all right, and I'll see you again. Bye bye.
Bye.